Good morning, everybody. Today, I'm here before you to discuss a topic related to history of English literature, development of novel in 18th century. Novel in 18th century is a very significant development as novel appeared in a proper sense for the first time in English. So obviously, discussing the development of novel in 18th century is a very important aspect of literary discussion. So let us see how novel in English took shape in 18th century. In fact, we speak about the real development of novel as a genre in 18th century. A novel as a genre was developed in other literatures before, but in English literature, novel appeared for the first time. However, there are many causes for the popularity of novel in 18th century. By that time, there was a spread of education and rise of reading public, and the democratic movement was also going on. And we call this 18th century as an age of enlightenment, and great philosophers, political thinkers uh, were born during this time. One more important cause for the development of novel in 18th century is the decline of drama. Drama was catering to the needs of illiterate audience. Of course, it was catering to the needs of all types of audience, whether you are literate or illiterate. So naturally, drama was for us to be staged, and it cannot be simply studied back home. But novel replaced drama because drama declined in 18th century. We come to know already what happened in Restoration period, the licentiousness, and the drama was not able to affect or influence the people. So the Restoration comedy of manners had a limited effect because it was rather focusing more on the upper class society and the aristocratic society. So one more thing why novel is important is its comprehensiveness. Novel is more comprehensive than that of poetry and drama. You have wider description. To give you a brief description about the genre, what is novel? Novel is a fictitious prose narrative. It is of course like drama, except the stage. Everything is available in drama. So in drama, we have, as E.M. Poster speaks about the aspects of the novel in his famous book, there are four great aspects of the novel. There is plot, there is characterization, there is setting, and there is narrative technique also. So drama has a plot, and a novel is also having a plot. Drama has characters, novel has also characters. Drama has a setting, novel has also got a setting. But the only difference is narrative style. If drama is meant for stage, novel is meant for reading. That's why novel is called pocket theater. Many people, consider this as a pocket theater, and it has given a right alternative to the drama. So naturally, for 18th century readers, it was a pocket theater. It has fulfilled all the needs of theater. Sitting back home, they could read drama and enjoy all the characteristics of drama in the novel. Let's discuss some important novelists of 18th century. 18th century, whenever we are talking about the 18th century, we speak about the pioneers of English novel. Of course, novel crudely appeared in Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, or sometimes you may speak about Lodge's Rosalind way back in 16th century. Prose romances were there, but Pilgrim's Progress has developed a character, But the proper sense of the novel, what we are talking, the theory of the novel or aspects of the novel. So proper novel did not appear before 18th century. Let's see, this century is marked by the contribution of four important novelists. They are called four wheels of novel, and they are called the pioneers of English novel. Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding, Laurence Sterne, and Tobi Small. They are rightly regarded as four wheels of novel. Now, these are the four novelists. Samuel Richardson, famous for his Pamela; Henry Fielding, famous for his Joseph Andrews; Laurence Sterne is famous for his wonderful novels, and Tobi Smollet is also known for his sea novels. Let's discuss one by one. Samuel Richardson, as a famous novelist, probably is the first to be studied because he was the man who could write the first English novel in modern sense. The first English novel is none other than Pamela. The other title of Pamela is Virtue Rewarded. Virtue Rewarded. There is some sentimental note in his novels. Of course, Pamela is about female chastity. Pamela is a working woman, and he has drawn characters from middle class and working class also. There is obviously a moral purpose in the novels of Samuel Richardson. And Pamela speaks about a working woman called Pamela, and she was in fact disturbed by Mr. B, her master, and obviously, Pamela wins the battle in the sense that she could protect her chastity, and finally, the virtue is rewarded. So, this is what we call a poetic justice. Poetic justice means good people should be rewarded and bad people should be punished. So virtue and vice, the question of virtue and vice. This is what we talk about moral purpose in literature. The other term is poetic justice. Okay. So Pamela is another contribution in the sense that now we are talking about working women. We are talking about the problems faced by working women in their workplaces. Similarly, even in 18th century, a maid servant or the people who are working in the office or in the house were also, disturbed by evil forces. So that kind of a thing you can find in Pamela. Another novel is Clarissa. Okay, these are the two novels. Even they speak about feminist, consciousness, and they raised questions in 18th century. Henry Fielding is another great novelist of the period, and he is one among the greatest four. And he wrote the novel of manners. We are speaking about comedy of manners in 17th century drama. Novel of manners was written by Henry Fielding. Of course, for one thing, he is very, very important. Joseph Andrews has a direct link with the plot of Pamela. Pamela character appears in Joseph Andrews, and in Pamela, the character of Joseph Andrews appears. It is a parody of Pamela. Parody means if in Pamela there is a question of female chastity, because the chastity of a woman is at stake there. And in case of Joseph Andrews, he is also working as a servant. And here, woman disturbs Joseph Andrews, and Tristan tries to molest him, and that's what Mrs. B. In case of Pamela, Mr. B is attacking her, and in case of Joseph Andrews, Mrs. B is troubling him. There is also comedy related to Parson Adams, the other character in Joseph Andrews, how they move. It is a picaresque novel, how they escape. So all the escapades and all the interesting things are beautifully described in the novel Joseph Andrews. The other novels of Henry Fielding are Tom Jones, Jonathan Wild, and Amelia. Okay. Tobias Smollet is another interesting novelist of the time. Of course, Tobias Smollet is remembered not only for his novels, but also adding something to the scope of the novel. He did not stop just at the domestic aspects. He tried to include the life and manners of different countries. His novels are providing wider, panorama of life, wider description of life and manners in different countries. And that's why the novels of Tobias Smollet are very important for us. One thing is very important about Tobias Smollet is he described sea life. About sea life, we have some of the novels in the later part. We are talking about Joseph Andrews, Heart of Darkness, Lord Jim. We are talking about American novelist Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. But in 18th century, you have a novelist writing about the sea life, and this novelist is Tobias Smollet. His important novels are The Adventures of Roderick Random, Adventures of Fergerin Prickle, and The Expedition of Humphrey Clinker. So these are some important novels of Tobias Smollet. The last among the four wheels is Laurence Sterne. And specialty of Laurence Sterne is that he is a famous Anglo-Irish novelist. He's basically from Ireland, writing in English. And one special quality of Laurence Sterne is that there are some brilliant effects in his novel. Providing brilliant effects is a technique, and that kind of effects are created. There is humor, pathos, sentimental note in the novels of Laurence Sterne. The best among the novels of Laurence Sterne are The Life and Opinion of Tristram Shandy and A Sentimental Journey Through France and Italy. So these are the two important novels of Laurence Sterne, who is basically from Ireland. And after having discussed the four wheels of novel, we should also discuss some other minor novelists of this period. They also contributed significantly to the development of novel. And one among such writers is Daniel Defoe. Daniel Defoe, we have already discussed him as a great prose writer. He was a journalist, pamphleteer, and besides being a great journalist and essayist, he was a great novelist too. And particularly he is famous for his Robinson Crusoe and Moll Flanders. Moll Flanders is a great picaresque novel talking about the life of Moll, who is disconnected from her parents in the early age, and how she struggles, how the society looks at a single woman, how she was involved in various activities. Sometimes, the fate made her to marry her own brother. So how it happened in her life? She becomes a thief, she becomes a midwife. So it's a very, very interesting picaresque novel written by Daniel Defoe. Of course, this is about Mal Flanders. And one more interesting novelist of this period is Oliver Goldsmith. He's a great essayist, poet, novelist, dramatist. We have discussed him as a dramatist already. As a dramatist, he is remembered for She Stoops to Conquer. As a poet, he is known for his Deserted Village. Here, he is famous for his novel, The Vicar of Wakefield. The Good Natured Man is also one of the wonderful works of Oliver Goldsmith. He is also Anglo-Irish novelist like Laurence Sterne. So it was the most popular and widely read 18th century novels. So Goldsmith's contribution to novel is also equally important. One more person we should remember as for this is Fanny Burney. She is important for two reasons. One thing, she is the first noted women novelist of 18th century. And for the second reason, she wrote wonderful novels with women characters as the protagonist, with women characters at the center. So only women could do that. She could understand the real feminist psyche. And obviously, she is very, very popular. And Jane Austen in 19th century, remarked that Fanny Burney was her favorite novelist. She imitated in many respects. Fanny Burney is one of the wonderful women novelists of 18th century with her three novels, Evelina, Cecilia, and Camellia. So these are some of the important novels of 18th century. It's a brief introduction to 18th century novel. There are writers, of course. They're not able to cover everything in a short lecture. So we need to refer to some important books for detailed discussion on 18th century novel. With this, I'm going to close today's session. Thank you so much.